Coverage you can count on from your good neighbor station. This is KGNS News at Noon.
Good Friday afternoon. Thanks for joining us on KGNS News at Noon. The clock has finally run out on Title 42. The pandemic-era policy that immediately expels migrants without providing asylum hearings expired last night. Title 8, the immigration law in place before the pandemic, will now replace Title 42, which means migrants will be allowed once again to apply for legal pathways to enter the U.S. Homeland Security officials say they predict 10,000 migrants per day will try to cross into the U.S. now that Title 42 has been lifted. However, the numbers have already surpassed that, with 11,000 apprehended on Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, we have team coverage this noon hour on what's next after Title 42. But right now, another big story is developing. We're following this one. It's our changing weather. Yolanda Villarreal's got more details on that. Yolanda?
Well, no, afternoon. It's already afternoon. So as you mentioned, Ruben, we got some changes in weather for us for today. It's going to be feeling like summer. And also this afternoon, we have those chances of showers and thunderstorms. And then as we head into the night, they will be increasing for us. And some of these showers and thunderstorms could produce lots of heavy rainfall for us here in Webb County. So this is our future forecast, and it could kind of give us a look at when these showers and thunderstorms would be moving into our area. And these showers or thunderstorms are developing mainly in Mexico, then moving into South Texas. Carrizo Spring and Eagle Pass will be seeing these showers and thunderstorms in the evening around 6 p.m. And then for us later on at night around 7 p.m. And we also see some areas shaded in pink. Also, these storms could produce some hail. But back to you.
All right, thanks, Yolanda. We get back to our continuing coverage of the COVID-era immigration restriction known as Title 42, which expired at 11:59 Thursday night. That's Eastern time. Thousands of people ready to cross the border into the United States. But overnight, a federal judge in Florida blocked the Biden administration's plan to directly release some, quote, thoroughly vetted migrants into the U.S. with no way to track them. Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas has issued a stern warning telling migrants that the border is not open. Mayorkas appeared on the Today Show this morning to discuss the crisis at the southern border.
So we consider that ruling to be very harmful. The procedure that we were executing is something that other administrations have done. These individuals are screened and vetted, and then they are released and then placed into immigration enforcement proceedings. The Department of Justice is, of course, considering its options with respect to the court's ruling. But we're ready for different eventualities, Savannah.
Well, now we're going to shift our focus to our own border here and how things played out. Justin Reyes is live at the City of Laredo Emergency Operations Center. Justin, the City of Laredo had been bracing for several weeks on the looming expiration of Title 42. What are city officials saying about how Laredo was affected by the lifting?
Well, that's right, Ruben. The Trump-era immigration policy has officially come to an end, but so far things remain calm on our side of the border. That's according to a City of Laredo official. Now, earlier this week, if you recall, the Emergency Management Coordinator, Dr. Victor Trevino, and the acting police chief, along with the NGOs, met here at the Laredo Fire Station to discuss some of the several contingency plans that they had in place in the event that our area saw a migrant surge. Remember that Dr. Victor Trevino said that it was like preparing for a hurricane. Fortunately, the City of Laredo Community Administrator, Nareda Negron, said we are not seeing a big surge in migrants. City of Laredo has been in constant communication with Catholic Charities and the Holding Institute on their operations, and so far they have not exceeded capacity. The city mentioned that it would use the El Metro Park and Ride and potentially open a rec center in the event that these centers reach capacity, but so far they have not had to resort to that. The city is also working with federal agencies to coordinate how many migrants are going to be used to Laredo's processing center from other border communities and continue to monitor the number of migrants coming in and out. Border Patrol and NGOs will advise city officials on any potential changes roughly 24 hours in advance. Again, Ruben, just to reiterate here, the city of Laredo is not seeing any migrant surge in our area, but we'll continue to monitor the situation and keep you updated on any possible updates as they arise. Reported from outside Laredo Fire Department, Justin Reyes, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Justin. All eyes are on the border, and our KGNS crews went to one of the border cities that is seeing a large influx of migrants all the way from Eagle Pass. Our Cecilia Trevino reports.
That's right. We continue our coverage here in the city of Eagle Pass. Title 42 is officially over, and in a city home to one of the biggest processing centers in the southern border, much uncertainty was present among officials here. But let's rewind and take a look at the last hours of Title 42. Wednesday and Thursday, just below bridge number 2, dozens of migrants crossing by the hour, up to entire families just turning themselves to authorities, that being the National Guard or state troopers, who then called Border Patrol to take them to processing. As the sun set on Thursday, up to 5 law enforcement agencies lined up at the border preparing for whatever came. That was Border Patrol, the National Guard, state troopers, Eagle Pass police, and deputies with the Office of Constable Precinct 4 for Maverick County. As midnight struck Eastern Time, 11 p.m. for us here, no massive wave of migrants hit the border of Eagle Pass, something many feared ahead of the end of Title 42. But still, families continued crossing as officials waited for more migrants to cross to group them. Guard telling us they did note which families crossed before 11 p.m. and which crossed after. Then into the early hours of Friday, a lot of movement here at the border. Tanks, boats, and dozens of members of the National Guard taking their position, still not knowing what's ahead of them. Reporting from Eagle Pass, Cecilia Trevino, back to you.
Thanks, Cecilia. Now we head to El Paso. NBC's Bree Jackson has more on the situation there. Bree?
I'm here in El Paso, Texas, one of the border cities that's been bracing for an influx of migrants now that Title 42 has ended. As you can see behind me, that's the border fence between El Paso and Mexico. We haven't seen many migrants coming through this area so far since Title 42 has ended, but that is expected to change. The city does expect an increase. Now, DHS expects about 10,000 people to cross each day now that Title 42 has ended. Republicans are blasting the White House, saying that the president has failed to have a plan in place. But the Biden administration is defending its record, saying that it's hiring more Border Patrol agents, increasing the number of people processing paperwork, and enforcing tougher consequences for unlawful entry. Now that Title 42 has ended, migrants would have to seek asylum in another country before applying here in the U.S. The ACLU filed a legal challenge against the Biden administration's new restrictions, claiming that it places vulnerable asylum seekers in danger. In El Paso, Texas, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jocelyn Gallardo. It is the first day after the ending of Title 42. This was the scene this morning at an entrance gate in El Paso, Texas. It will be a similar scene along the southern U.S. border for the weeks and months to come following the expiration of Title 42. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement have also conducted multiple flights this week as thousands of migrants are removed, expelled, or have volunteered to leave on their own. We have team coverage as Title 8, the immigration law in place before the pandemic, will now replace Title 42, which means migrants will be allowed once again to apply for legal pathways to enter to the U.S. We'll have more on that developing story right now, but first let's take a look outside. We are tracking our weather tonight. Another top story for us. It's cloudy out there. There is a possible risk of severe weather today. Wind and hail are the greatest threat so far. So with that being said, let's take a look at our forecast. This is just a glimpse of what we were expecting for later on tonight. Just an hour away at 7 p.m. Expect that 80% chance of rain as we get into the evening. It will remain there. 10 p.m. showers as well as midnight. A flood watch will go into effect at 7 p.m. this evening through Sunday afternoon. Numerous flash floods likely with significant events are possible. Counties are set to be under the watch include Duval, LaSalle, and Webb. Excessive runoff may result in flooding of rivers, creeks, streams, and other low-lying and flood-prone locations. Widespread of thunderstorms have formed to our west and will track across the river this evening, so keep your umbrella handy. Showers will be here through the weekend. We'll have a full look at weather in just a bit.
And now back to that pandemic-era CDC policy adopted during the Trump administration that empowered U.S. authorities to expel migrants quickly. For the first time in more than 3 years, U.S. border officials are processing incoming migrants without Title 42. It expired overnight as the number of migrants in U.S.-Mexico border towns have been swelling to historic numbers in recent days. Tens of thousands of people desperate and determined to get into the U.S. Many saying they will do it legally or illegally if that's what it takes. Laredo Aguirre kicks off our team coverage on how processing is going today and what lies ahead as cities, including Laredo, manage the migrant surge.
As the sun rose Friday over many southern border towns, the expected swell of migrants appeared orderly. Waiting lines getting shorter. U.S. Border Authority vans and buses on the move.
We are processing them. We are screening and vetting them. And if they do not have a basis to remain, we will remove them very swiftly.
In El Paso, Texas, there's been no huge rush, no chaotic surge.
We were able to work and be prepared for yesterday. And I'm really pleased of the way everyone came together.
Yet that's not the sentiment in all border towns.
I wrote a letter to President Biden demonstrating and demanding that he declare a national state of emergency due to this immigration crisis.
One legal roadblock late Thursday, a federal judge temporarily blocked the Biden administration from releasing processed migrants into the U.S. before they have their court date notices.
It's a very harmful ruling, and the Department of Justice is considering our options.
While that plays out, U.S. officials are transporting waiting migrants to other crossing locations to speed up processing and any needed removals.
They can go into immigration enforcement proceedings, make whatever claim for relief they might, and if they don't succeed, be removed.
We don't know what's coming in tomorrow. We don't know what will be coming in a week from now. So we'll continue to work together and continue to be prepared.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Well, meanwhile, things here at our border played out differently than those cities we just mentioned. Justin Reyes is live at the City of Laredo Emergency Operations Center on Del Mar. Justin, what are city officials saying about how Laredo was affected by the lifting of Title 42?
Well, Yoselin, after several weeks, Title 42 has come to an end, and the city of Laredo has been preparing for it. And they're saying that things are really calm right now, but they are prepared for the possibility of any potential surge in our area. According to Dr. Victor Trevino, only a few people have crossed so far. However, it's nothing compared to other border communities, like you mentioned, Eagle Pass or El Paso. On Wednesday, Mayor Trevino, along with the Emergency Management Coordinator and Acting Police Chief, met with the NGOs to discuss possible contingency plans in the event that Laredo did see a surge. Now, one of those plans was to use the El Metro parking right on Hillside and a potentially open a rec center in the event that the NGOs reach capacity. So far, they have not had to resort to that. And as Title 42 came to an end, a federal judge in Florida temporarily blocked the Biden administration from carrying out parts of its migrant parole policy. Now, we asked Dr. Trevino about what he believed. He says that this is something that could lead to a humanitarian crisis.
The judge that ordered that TRO in Florida, it's a federal judge, put a restraint on the ability for CBP to process and give them parole. They would have to wait in the detention centers for their court date, which could be months and indeterminate amount of time, which is very concerning because these are family units, children, even babies. To think that they will be in detention centers for months, I think that it would create another humanitarian crisis.
Now, Border Patrol and the NGOs will advise city officials on any potential changes roughly 24 hours in advance. As for security, each NGO will be equipped with a police officer outside the facility to ensure security of the community. Again, Yoselin, just to reiterate, Dr. Victor Trevino said we are not seeing a surge in migrants here in our community, but they will continue to monitor the situation as it develops. Reporting from outside the Emergency Coordinate Management Center, Justin Reyes, back to you.
All right, thanks, Justin. Now to our Christian Del Rio, who continues our team coverage at the Holding Institute. Christian, what are these local non-governmental organizations telling you? Are they ready to hold immigrants in case there's an overflow?
We are here in downtown Laredo at one of the most oldest non-governmental organizations, or NGOs for short, which is the Holding Institute. And as of now, we're seeing little to none migrants roaming here at the corner of Washington and Santa Maria. However, the Institute says they're ready for anything. And as we mentioned, Title 42 came to an end hours ago. All eyes have been on the border today as people wait to see what will happen next. Holding expects to receive hundreds or even thousands of processed migrants in a couple of few days, who they will assist as they head to their next destination. Currently, the shelter houses around 50 families per day. But now that Title 42 is over, they expect to see maybe double or triple that number. A week ago, we spoke to Pastor Michael Smith, director of the Holding Institute, who says the shelter have been preparing for this. On Wednesday, Mayor Dr. Victor Trevino had a meeting with the mayor of Eagle Pass on how they will work with the federal authorities after the end of Title 42. For us, we will keep an eye out here at Holding Institute and, of course, Catholic Charities, which is the second NGOs right here in town. Reporting outside Holding Institute at the corner of Washington and Santa Maria, I'm Christian Del Rio for KGNS News.
Now let's head 2 hours north of Laredo now to the city of Eagle Pass, home to one of the largest processing centers in the southern border. For the past 2 days, our KGNS news crew has been there seeing from the ground the final days and hours of Title 42. Our Cecilia Trevino has more on what she says happened on the ground.
A small border city in Texas prepared in their own way for the end of Title 42. Local, state, and federal agencies united to support each other and be on standby for the unknown. As the clock hit midnight for Eastern Time, 11 p.m. for Eagle Pass, the massive wave of migrants anticipated did not happen. In a border community that relies on only one shelter, the non-governmental organization called Mission Border Hope has seen an influx of migrants for the past 2 weeks. A bus driver who did not want to appear on camera says he has seen entire families coming here to chase their American dream. Although we were not allowed to film inside the shelter, one migrant shared with us his long trek from Venezuela is about to end when he reaches his final destination of San Antonio.
I'm going up north, 2 hours away to San Antonio. I'm going to look for a job. That's what we come here for, to have a better life, to work hard and do our best to have a good future and fix our lives. Bye.
And just like that, many like Edison on their way to pursue their American dream. During the last 2 nights leading up to the end of Title 42, we saw dozens of migrants crossing by the hour. Uncertain of what was ahead of them, city officials said Eagle Pass can only handle so much.
I do want to make it clear that we do not facilitate any sheltering or anything specific to the immigration problem. Our community is not financially prepared to be sustaining that type of situation.
Still, in a historic day, the law enforcement in Eagle Pass braced and helped each other to manage. The National Guard and state troopers were stationed at the river, detaining those who crossed and then calling Border Patrol to pick them up. Joining them in the last hours of Title 42 were Eagle Pass police and deputies with the Office of Constable Precinct 4 of Maverick County, bringing a busy but controlled transition to migration law as it was before the COVID pandemic. Still, the National Guard making a distinction between those who crossed before and after 11 p.m. on May 11th, separated by just minutes, but now by Title 42 and Title 8, and heightened security by the time the sun came out for a new day on May 12th. For KGNS News, Cecilia Trevino.
As city officials continue to be on standby for Border Patrol's request for help, the Eagle Pass Fire Department says they have requested all-weather roads to be built along the riverbanks. This is to better control crossings or possible drownings. According to a poll published by Politico, over 50% of voters in 7 key electoral college states disapprove of President Biden's handling of immigration. Here at home, migrants are already passing through our city, and some locals have spoken out on the matter, while many migrants say only a few days. Others wait at the bus station for a ticket out to their final destination. Many who visit downtown Laredo say they are concerned by the trash left behind by the migrants. We spoke to a couple of people about their concerns earlier today.
Well, yes, there's some people here, some migrants that beg for money here. You never know, some can be bandits. One doesn't know.
It's so wrong. They're making a mess everywhere. They throw trash everywhere and crews are out here cleaning it up. The public restrooms are now closed. The bus station closes at midnight. Where do you think people do their business?
As mentioned yesterday, downtown Laredo will not be the only place to see migrants pass through. An influx of travelers by plane is expected in the next few days, as many migrants will travel out by air. So as the first day after the end of Title 42 winds down, new asylum rules now in place will limit claims allowed by migrants who travel through other countries to the U.S. southern border and closely track migrant families released into the U.S. during the deportation process. That rule drew a lawsuit from the American Civil Liberties Union, who says it breaks with the U.S. and international law and puts vulnerable migrants in harm's way. The Homeland Security Secretary also reiterated his message to migrants still heading to the U.S. The border is not open. No matter what the smugglers may tell them, and crossing illegally will prevent migrants from applying for asylum for 5 years. We'll be closely monitoring the border in the next couple of days and provide you with any updates on this developing story.
Laredo is coming alive with vibrant colors and the spirit of Mexico as vendors set up shop on street corners, offering an array of colorful Mexican items for sale. It's all in preparation for Mexican Independence Day tomorrow. With many schools celebrating, parents and children are eager to wear their finest Mexican attire and join in on the festivities.
That's the only day we have to dress like this, you know, because the other days we don't have this kind of party. Today is a party time.
Well, Mexican Independence Day falls, in case you didn't know this, tomorrow, Saturday, September the 16th. Meanwhile, the city of Laredo and the Mexican General Consulate are inviting the community to a celebration at El Portal today, right in front of the outlet shops at Laredo. And that is where we see Laceli Garza right now. She's live to tell us all about it. Laceli?
Hey, Ruben, we are here on location in front of El Portal, ready to celebrate Mexican Independence Day. Today, there will be a celebration starting at 6 p.m. El Grito. There will be a lot of vendors. There will be entertainment. There will be food. And here to show us some of the food that will be on location tonight is Miss Gamboa. What is these delicious plates you have brought? ¿Cuáles son los platillos que usted nos trajo?
Es salpicón de carne de res y salpicón de pollo.
So this is basically a chicken dish and a beef dish. How do you prepare this? ¿Cómo se prepara esto?
Es muy sencillo. Haces el típico pico de gallo con chile, tomate, cebolla, cilantro y aguacate y queso panela y lo sirves en una tostada así y es fresco y queda delicioso.
So basically, this meal is served on tostadas or any type of saltine cracker. This is a beef and a chicken dish. It is made with pico de gallo and also queso. You can eat this on Mexican Independence Day. This is just one of many foods you can eat today. Again, the celebration is at 6 p.m. here in El Portal with lots of entertainment and delicious food. That's it from me from here on location for KGNS News. I'm Lisa Garza. Back to you, Ruben.
Thanks, Laselli. That event, by the way, is open to everyone. Admission is free. Again, it's happening today at El Portal in front of the outlet shops at Laredo at 6 p.m. The highlight of the evening, the traditional Grito ceremony at 8 o'clock tonight. Well, we're going to take to the skies now and point the sky cam that sits atop the KGNS studios toward downtown Laredo. Of course, you can't see as far as El Portal in that shot, but looking good. Unfortunately, if you think about traffic, we had a traffic accident earlier this morning, even before the day got started. You've had a bus accident this morning, so please be careful out there on this day before the SECs. A lot of people trying to get to their work early so they can leave early and get the party started for the weekend. Speaking of party, Yolanda's always having a party. She finds herself as well downtown Laredo live. I don't know why you and Laselli got the live assignment and I'm here at the desk, but Yolanda, what's going on?
Well, you know, good morning, good afternoon. I've been here since the morning. I feel the heat is super humid, but also we're getting that breeze. I know many of y'all are going to be here downtown or El Portal, where they're going to be having a concert, a lot of food vendors, and the sun is 100% outside. If you could barely see my eyes, I'm getting like you can't see my eyes. I've been sweating, you know, and right now our current temperature is marking that we're in the 80s. It already feels like the triple digits. I know if you work outdoors, the heat will continue, but we're looking at a hope of chance of rain later on this afternoon, around 4 p.m. being at a 20%. But then as we head into the night hours, they will be increasing. Back to you.
All right, Yolanda, thank you very much.
It's time for your KGNS First Alert weather forecast.
Well, good afternoon. I'm here at El Portal near the outlets. I know there's going to be many people later on in the afternoon because there's going to be an event going on where there's going to be a concert and also lots of food vendors. And I've been here since the morning show, Telemundo en tu Casa. And you know, the heat, you could feel it. I know I did mention there's rain chances. They are, but that would be later on in the afternoon around 4 p.m. being like a slight chance. Then at night, we're going to start to see those rain chances increase. As you can see right now, our temperature is marking that we're in the 80s, but it already feels like if we're in the triple digits. Also, you could barely feel that breeze. Now, how does it really feel across the region? We do see those temperatures already increasing, some in the upper 90s, while others still in the triple digits. If you still have plans to be outdoors, you're going to be feeling that heat, and that is due to that high temperature and lots of moisture in the air, but that's also going to be helping for those rain chances later on in the evening hours. Now, moving on to our radar, we do see lots of shower activity going on, mainly in the Texas Panhandle, in the east parts like Dallas, Houston. They're getting lots of those isolated to scattered showers. For us, as I mentioned, it would be later on in the afternoon around 4 p.m., starting off with that slight chance. But then once we hit those evening hours, it's expected for those isolated to scattered showers to arrive for us, especially for this weekend. And I know many of us already want to relieve from the heat. Well, by this weekend, we're going to notice a slight drop in our temperatures. They should be dropping into the 90s. Now, moving on to our day planner, we do see that still around 3 p.m. Once we're still going to be in the triple digits. 104 is expected to be our high, but it's going to be feeling like 111. Then later on, we do see that in the evening hours, still in the triple digits. Then we start to see those slight chances. And even for tonight, it is going to be mostly clear with those isolated to scattered showers in the upper to low 80s. And as I mentioned, for today, we're expected to reach that high of 104, but it's sure going to be feeling way hotter than that, like 111. Then for this weekend, there will be that frontal boundary moving in, and that's when we're going to have the better chance for showers and thunderstorms. And keep in mind, these showers and thunderstorms could produce lots of heavy rainfall at some occasions, so low-lying areas could see some possible flooding, especially for that. But also, we do see that our highs are expected to drop into the 90s, but due to that cloud coverage that we're expected to get this weekend and that rain, we could probably be seeing those 80s as highs, which is something we really need. We need a rest from those triple digits. But back to break, or back to you, Ruben.
All right, here's what's coming up on KGNS News. The early edition, a false threat is investigated at a local middle school. Plus, a school bus transporting 9 students is involved in an accident. And tonight on Dateline, an investigation is opened into a string of deadly shootings targeting women here in Laredo. But when other law enforcement agencies are called in to help solve the case, an unexpected suspect comes to light. That story unfolds right here tonight on KGNS at 9 o'clock. And we'll have details on those other stories and more coming up on the KGNS News early edition. Right now, we're going to send things over one more time to Yolanda Villarreal at El Portal.
Well, you know, it's still going to continue to be hot for us this afternoon. There's going to be many events going on as well, and the heat will continue. We're expected to reach a high of 104. It's going to be feeling like 111, but there's still those chances of showers and thunderstorms, starting with a little bit of hope around 4 p.m. Then they will be increasing as we head into the night into a 50%. So what do you think, Liseli? How's it going to be, though?
It is very hot right now, Yoli. We've been out here for a couple hours. We see that people are already setting up for this event at 6 p.m. So will there be rain chances this afternoon, or will it be until tomorrow?
So the rain chances are right now around 4 p.m. That's the slight chance. But as we head into the evening, it's when it will become into a 50%. And then by the weekend, we're also going to notice a drop in our temperatures, and that is due to a front. So that front is also going to be helping lower highs into the 90s. But hopefully with lots of cloud coverage and lots of rainfall, we could probably be seeing highs in the 80s for this weekend. And I know many people are gonna enjoy those 80s. You know, we want a relief from the heat, and also especially those triple digits. And also to keep in mind, these showers and thunderstorms could produce heavy rainfall, meaning that not everybody's gonna get it, but some areas could be getting those storms with lots of heavy rain. So we gotta keep an eye on that.
Awesome. Even though the weather's gonna be humid and hot, you will still come out here at 6 p.m. for El Grito. We will have all of our details about this event at 5, 6, and 10. That's it for us here. We'll send it back to you, Ruben.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Y'all have fun.